The Institute for Economics and Peace, chaired by technology entrepreneur Steve Killelea, founder of Integrated Research, is a global think tank headquartered in Sydney, Australia with branches in New York, Mexico City and Oxford. IEP is dedicated to shifting the world's focus to peace as a positive, achievable, and tangible measure of human well-being and progress. It achieves its goals by developing new conceptual frameworks to define peacefulness, providing metrics for measurement, uncovering the relationship between peace, business, and prosperity, and by promoting a better understanding of the cultural, economic, and political factors that drive peacefulness. IEP works in partnership with a number of think tanks, NGOs and academic institutions including the Aspen Institute, Economists for Peace and Security, the United Nations Global Compact, Center for Strategic and International Studies and Cranfield University. It also collaborates with intergovernmental organizations such as the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the Commonwealth Secretariat, UNDP and UN Peacebuilding Support Office. The Global Go-To Think Tank Index, produced by the University of Pennsylvania, listed the Institute for Economics and Peace as a think tank to watch, one of the top 15 think tanks with a budget under $5 million, and as an institution with a leading collaboration. In 2013, Steve Killelea's founding of IEP was recognized as one of the 50 most impactful philanthropic gifts in Australia's history by a coalition including the Mayer Family Company, the Mayer Foundation and Sydney Mayer Fund, Pro Bono Australia, Swinburne University and Philanthropy Australia. Global Peace Index. The core asset of the IEP is the Global Peace Index, which is now considered the benchmark study in measuring peace. The GPI has been recognized by leading analysts and institutions, and has been incorporated into reports such as the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute's yearbook, and was analyzed by the World Bank's World Development Report 2011 team. The data for the Global Peace Index is collected and collated partly by the Economist Intelligence Unit, the research and analysis arm of the Economist Group, and the methodology is informed and reviewed by an international panel of peace and statistics experts. The GPI is released annually with presentations in London, Washington, D.C. and at the United Nations headquarters in New York and Geneva. In 2009, the events took place at Central Hall, Westminster in London and the Centre for Strategic and International Studies in Washington, D.C. In addition, the GPI was the empirical basis for the Symposium of Peaceful Nations, a three-day conference hosted in November 2009 to honor the most peaceful countries in each of 9 regions of the world, at which Helen Clark, UNDP administrator, delivered the keynote address. The GPI is used by various international organizations such as the UN and World Bank. The 9th Annual Global Peace Index, launched in 2015, includes 162 countries in the world, and the interactive map on the website explains the rankings. National Peace Indices. IEP launched a series of national peace indices beginning with the United States Peace Index in April 2011. The USPI ranks each state in the U.S. by peacefulness and, unlike the GPI, uses only 5 indicators: incarceration rate, the number of police officers, the number of homicides, the availability of small arms, and the number of violent crimes. Maine is the most peaceful state, while Louisiana is the least peaceful. The Mexico Peace Index is the latest in the series of national peace indices. There have been 2 editions of the MPI to date, the first published in 2013 and most recently in 2015. The MPI uses 7 indicators to gauge the level of peace in the 32 Mexican states from 2003 to 2014. The indicators are homicide rates, violent crimes, weapons crime, incarceration, police funding, efficiency of the justice system, and the level of organized crime. Guanajuato, Michoacán, Sinaloa, Morelos and Guerrero are the least peaceful cities, while Hidalgo, Yucatán and Querétaro are the most peaceful. Mexico was found to be the sixth largest spender on violence containment in the world. It is estimated that it has cost the national economy 17% of the GDP to contain and manage the effects of direct and indirect violence. Global Terrorism Index. The Global Terrorism Index is an attempt to systematically rank nations according to terrorist activity. 2 editions have been released to date, and a third edition is expected in late 2015. According to reports, in the decade following September 11, 2001, the number of terrorist attacks each year has quadrupled. The GTI also indicates an increase of 61% in deaths from terrorism from 2012 to 2013, largely due to the civil war in Syria and the spillover effects in the region. In 2013, 82% of those who died in terrorist attacks were in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nigeria, and Syria. Building Blocks of Peace. The IEP launched its education program with the release of Building Blocks of Peace, a 4-module curriculum resource that offers step-by-step guidance for high school teachers to introduce a fresh perspective to the issues surrounds global peace into the classroom. Presented at both regional and national conferences, the Building Blocks of Peace materials are in addition to the resources available to teachers dedicated to educating global citizens. These modules are available to download for free on the web. Global Peace Report. On October 26, 2010, the Institute for Economics and Peace and Media Tenor released Measuring Peace in the Media, the first study that takes a fact-based approach into understanding the accuracy of international television networks' coverage of peace, violence and conflict. The results show broad inconsistencies across geographies and networks, with U.S. broadcasters much more focused on violence and conflict than the European and Middle Eastern counterparts. Al Jazeera was found to be the network providing the most balanced coverage on Afghanistan. BBC World led the way when it came to breadth of coverage. It regularly reported on 67 countries across 6 continents, which is nearly twice as many countries as the average level of coverage. The study analyzed 37 TV news and current affairs programs from 23 networks in 15 countries *, and then cross-referenced this with the Global Peace Index, which measures the levels of peace and violence in 149 countries. BBC Two Newsnight and ZDF Journal were found to be the programs whose editorial policies aligned the coverage most closely with the rankings of the GPI. Positive peace stories make up just 1.6% of the total number of stories examined in the study. These are stories that report on active steps taken to rectify violent situations. Such a small percentage may be partly related to what is considered newsworthy and dramatic, such as high-impact, violent or controversial events. However, the stereotyping of nations which are low on the GPI makes it harder for audiences to gain empathy and therefore to support governments and make headway towards creating peace.